Hi, my name is Thabang Lenonyana. I'm from Mpumalanga. I'm 24 years old and I'm a software engineer and the co-founder of RecycleX, a recycling platform. I came across Afrika Tikkun about a year and a half ago. I remember going through Graduate 24, and I saw a learnership at Afrika Tikkun. I just hopefully applied, hoping they would take me, and they eventually did. So the program I did at Afrika Tikkun was a software development and data analytics training, which was a full year course where I went from zero to hero, in coding, data analytics, and just the tech world in general. During my program at Afrika Tikkun, actually, I was attending, a lot of hackathons and tech events, summits and whatnot. So at one of the hackathons, I was actually working on this idea for RecycleX, and that's where I basically met my co-founder. So once I posted my project on LinkedIn, he's the one who actually connected with me and was like, he's doing a similar thing and he would love for us to collaborate. And yeah, the rest is history. This was about 4 months ago. And ever since then, we've been working and pushing RecycleX as much as we can, and to make it a success. My parents were working people, 9 to 5, but then on the side, they did have some sort of side hustles, you might say. But yes, I think they instilled that concept of entrepreneurship in us from a very young age. My mom, I remember, used to sell soap and like random things just to get that extra income. And I think I grew up with that, and I never thought that I would actually start my own business. But through some of the workshops and events that I attended and hackathons, where you are building something very quickly and it needs to make business sense, because you can't just build stuff for the sake of building it or because it's cool. The hackathons and these workshops force you to think in a business way, and I think that's really where it clicked for me, and I really fell in love with the idea of entrepreneurship, and actually making an impact, and not only for myself but then for the people around me as well. I can empower my family, my friends, and people around me. So yes, we are building an app called RecycleX. So what is RecycleX? RecycleX is basically a comprehensive digital platform that basically lets users be able to turn their trash into cash. And how do they do that? So basically, you can scan a plastic bottle with your phone, and we'll be able to tell you if that item is recyclable or not. And if it is recyclable, we then provide an incentive or a reward for you to say, oh, you've scanned so many items this month. Here's an incentive. And imagine if you could now buy airtime or electricity with that incentive. I think that's the main focus of our application, to say we're trying to incentivize and destigmatize the whole recycling industry, and be able to get people to actually, divert some of the stuff that's going to landfills in terms of our waste that we are generating. So the problem that we identified is that, according to stats, say about 120 million tons of waste is generated annually, right? And only 10% of that waste is actually being recycled. 90% of it ends up in landfills. And I think that's where the whole idea for RecycleX was actually born. We're trying to divert some of that waste into being actually recycled and actually improving our environment. We did some calculations on our end, just being able to tell what kind of impact we can provide. So if we can get 1,000 users using our application, we'll be able to at least divert 50 tons of waste from landfills and actually being recycled. That's at least something. That's a good starting point, we feel that. And not only are we trying to create an environmental impact, but we're trying to create a social and economic impact. And what I mean by that is, imagine through the app, you're able to see the people around you or in your community, being incentivized to recycle. and you also want to join in. You don't want to miss out, right? And also the incentive. Imagine you recycle so much this month that you don't even have to pay for your electricity, and that's where really the impact you're trying to push and get people using our application. Hopefully this can scale and grow into a nationwide project where everyone is doing it, and we could divert more than 90% of the waste from landfills into recycling. Like I said, we have gamified features where there's leaderboards and achievements that you earn based on how much you're recycling and stuff. So that can bring together communities in a way where everyone is incentivized to recycle and make eco-conscious decisions. So that could also benefit certain communities where we could educate them in terms of how to do this stuff. So we're trying to bring together communities. My advice to anyone out there, or the young people of South Africa, is that I see it for myself, right? I went to varsity, tried studying, but then it didn't work out. But that was not the end for me. And I think for everyone else out there, it doesn't have to be the end for you as well. Always believe in what you envision and what you want, and stick to that dream. Do not let anyone divert you from that dream. That's my vision and advice for anyone out there who's watching this and thinking, how does this even happen? For anyone out there watching, watch out for Recycle X. We'll be in your community very soon. Let's reimagine recycling in South Africa one scan at a time, and let's turn your trash into cash.